Each week on Culinary Confidential, Christina Cates, a seasoned foodie who has worked at some of New York City's top restaurants, will share her passion for the culinary world. Whether you're a professional chef, a restaurant enthusiast, or a lover of good food, Christina dives into the heart of hospitality, exploring the trends, triumphs, and challenges facing the food service profession. And you won't want to miss her chats with some of the most interesting and influential industry voices. And now, please take your seat at the table as Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates starts now, exclusively on AM 970. The Answer.
Welcome to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates. This show is produced in association with my dear friend, Lucas A. Ferrara. Before we get into tonight's show, I have to mention I just reread Danny Meyer's New York Times bestselling book, Setting the Table. I read it like 10 years ago and just came across it in a closet I was cleaning out. It's so good. If you're listening and you're in the industry, or you just like to read about the industry, or you're a business owner at all, read this book. Okay, the show tonight is all about the food influencer. I've talked about food influencers a bunch of times on various shows because the weight they hold in making or breaking an establishment can be heavy. It can work really well for brands if they're given a good review because it's essentially free marketing for an establishment, helping expose the brand without having to pay for expensive public relations firms. My guest tonight is Eric Hammer, a social media personality known for his food reviews on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. He samples and critiques a variety of foods, including items from major chains. As of this month, he has something like 190,000 followers on TikTok and a similar number of followers on Instagram. If you're on social media, I promise you've seen one of Eric's reels along the way. Social media is one of the most powerful tools in the modern world because it bridges geographical gaps and allows you to stay connected with people regardless of the distance. It doesn't matter whether you're an ocean between you and the other person. It enables real-time communication and instant sharing of information across the world. When used responsibly, social media is really cool. With everything in the world, there are pros and cons, but using social media to promote businesses through digital marketing might be the best way to go these days. But like I was saying, social media is a double-edged sword. It has immense power to create positive change, but it also presents challenges like misinformation, privacy concerns, and mental health risks. Using it responsibly is the key to maximizing its benefits while mitigating downsides. Using social media for food influencing is my cup of tea, and we're going to dive into that tonight. Eric Hammer, welcome to Culinary Confidential.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm flattered to be here, truly.
Oh, are you?
I am, yeah. It feels so official.
I know. The studio setup, it does give a good impression.
Yeah.
The headphones, the microphones, people do get a kick out of it when they come in studio. And I always
feel the pressure.
You do?
A little bit,
Oh,
yeah.
No, there's no pressure here tonight.
Okay.
Trust me. You're amongst friends.
Okay.
Right,
Love
Ryan?
it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Okay.
No biggie here.
Yeah. Eric, I know you recently just made this a full-time gig, leaving your previous full-time job. What inspired you to start your journey as a social media influencer?
Wow. That's a loaded question right off the bat.
Let's hear it. We have all night.
I never thought it would be something that I would do full-time, truly. It was a hobby for a long time. It started to gain some traction. But even still, I never thought it would be something that I would want to give everything to and leave everything else behind. I had a job at an agency, a marketing agency.
Okay.
For 5.5 years where I worked in the content world. I was a content strategist.
Oh, so you have a little bit of background on how to use these things.
Yeah. I always told people that my agency job helped to inform my content as a creator. And then what I learned as a creator would help my team and my job. So they were very much mutually beneficial. And I wanted to do both together. And I did for the better part of 2.5, 3 years. I did both full throttle.
Simultaneously.
Yeah. So long there was no overlap and no issues. But it got to a point where I started to look at my content as an opportunity to really do something different. And in order to really level up, I needed to be fully invested.
Right.
And that meant leaving behind the 9 to 5, the salary, the corporate lifestyle, if you will.
I mean, because the market for food influencers on social media is a little saturated.
Very much.
What do you think sets you apart from the others?
I think I'm willing to put my personality out there as well. It's not just about the food and the experience. Yes, those are the pillars of any piece of content for me, but my goal is that if you're watching one of my videos or listening, it should feel like you're on the other side of the table from me, and we're just chopping it up as friends, family, homies, whatever. So I'm willing to make it a conversation, not just this dish tasted great. This is a must order. I'm here to crack some jokes and inject some humor into it as well, because those are the best conversations at the dinner table. They're real life.
Yeah.
It's real emotion. You're just having a good time. It's not just about what's on the table in front of you. It's everything together.
I love it. I mean, I love your videos too.
Thank you.
I've been following you for a long time, and I'm just obsessed with everything Eric Hammer does.
I love to hear that. Thank you so much.
Aw. Okay, as someone who is building a brand herself, like I am, how did you grow your audience? What strategies worked best for you? Because when I started this show, I was like, okay, I have to make a dedicated Culinary Confidential Christina Instagram handle starting from the ground up. And it's stressful, honestly, like to gather that audience. What should I be doing? How did you do it?
What I always tell people when they ask for advice or pose a question similar to what you just did, I always say my strategy for a very long time, and still is in many ways, throwing as much at the wall as possible and seeing what sticks. And by that, people will tell you what sticks. You'll learn what's resonating with the audience. You'll learn what people don't want. So I try to first hyper target my immediate area. I live in Hoboken.
Right. Jersey boy.
Yeah. Born and raised forever. Shout out Jersey.
I'm from Jersey.
It's right.
Yeah.
And I, for a long time, was eating at and creating content for Hoboken restaurants and Jersey City and some New York City stuff. But for the most part, where I lived, because that's where I was eating most of my meals from, just living there. So I became sort of known as like the Hoboken food person or one of, because there's actually a bunch of amazing
like
food
Kate?
creators. Yeah, like Kate.
I love her stuff.
Yeah, she's a legend. I love Kate. But I first hyper targeted that immediate area, and then people start to give you their own recommendations. Hey, go check out this sandwich shop from my hometown. You got to try this burger. You got to go get sushi here. You got to go get Thai food there. So I started to
venture.
Yeah, and try out other people's suggestions, because I have my own opinions and my list of places to go, but I don't know everything, and everybody has their own favorite spots. Like, I know I'm missing out on so much. Jersey is so loaded with so much great food. So I started to branch out more and more while still posting as much as possible, throwing as much at the wall as possible.
So what are you posting every day?
Almost every day. I would say 4 or 5 times a week for the better part of the last 3 years, something like that.
When do you think you really gained a lot of traction? Like, was there a certain video that went viral that really gave you the name, or was it just a natural progression? It was like a little every day.
I actually think it's more of a steady growth. There were some spike moments that, you jump from no followers to 10,000.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you start to have a little bit of a base. And that first video for me was a roast beef sandwich from Fiore's Deli
in Hoboken.
Yeah, which is like my favorite sandwich ever. It's a legendary spot. If
it's
you know,
Kate's
you know.
Too.
Yeah, Fiore's is iconic. It has been for decades. That was the first video where I saw probably got 1 million views, and it was like,
wow,
whoa.
So that went viral.
Yeah, that was a holy crap moment for me. But again, that was just like the first taste of like what could be on TikTok specifically.
Okay, so is that where you started, on the TikTok?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had an Instagram account, but I was not posting any food content there other than just posting stories of like
I'm not
if
on
I was
TikTok.
making something, if I was going out to eat.
Should I get on TikTok?
If it doesn't feel right, then no.
I don't know about these things.
That's all right.
I'm like a boomer at heart. Like,
Sure.
even Instagram, I'm like, before this, would just post pictures of my kids.
I hear you. Yeah. I recommend it as like it's another at bat. You never know if your content's going to take off.
But everyone says TikTok. They're like, you got to get on TikTok.
TikTok
and then
is awesome.
Instagram like feeds from that. Like, you can repost, or how's this work?
I post almost everything on both platforms. It's rare these days that I'm posting something different.
Okay.
If you're seeing it on TikTok, you're seeing the same thing on Instagram for me, for the most part. I use each platform differently. Like, I post stories on Instagram. I don't really do that on TikTok. I'm also posting my stuff on Threads and YouTube and Twitter, and those are
Okay, so you are on all the platforms, majorly.
Just throwing as much at the wall and seeing who likes it. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
Not the Twitter, but...
Yeah. But to go back to what you said, that video was the first one to pop for me. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, it was only deli sandwiches that were working for me for content. and I love a deli sandwich. I'm born and raised in Jersey, but it was not a passion of mine. But every weekend I was going to different delis and eating chicken cutlets and fresh mutts and prosciutto. And I feel like a good percentage of my blood was probably balsamic glaze at that point. It was a lot. And I try to be low carb, so it wasn't exactly.
Oh, how can you do that?
It was tough, but none of my other content was succeeding by my standards. So, but eventually I cracked through to a different format where I was able to sit at my kitchen table, and that format worked. And then once that started to click, I was off to the races, because then what was happening was people were falling in love with that format and not so much what I was eating. Sure, they want to know what it is and if it's good.
Yeah, but then they're tuning in for Eric Hammer specifically.
Yes, that's where like this shift happened, where people are watching my content. They don't care exactly what it is that I'm eating. They just want to see the video.
Now you're a brand.
Yeah, it's wild to say that, but you're absolutely right.
Okay, explain to me, like, how do influencers, because everyone can be an influencer these days, right? Like, it doesn't even have to just be food influencing. How do you monetize it?
There's multiple ways to do so. The majority of the money that I make is from brand deals. So working with the big dogs, the Shake Shacks of the world, these conglomerates with multi-million-dollar marketing budgets.
Yeah, but do they come to you, or are you going to them and saying, hey, can we do a collab?
It could happen both ways. Sometimes it's inbound. Sometimes I consider this outbound, right? If I were to like go to post a video myself from eating fast food and tagging that brand, I'm trying to get their attention, right? Like that, in my opinion.
Hopefully they repost it, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I consider that a little bit of outbound. It's not exactly like sliding into the DMs and being like, hey, let's collab, although that probably works for some people in some industries. But I have a manager and a team now, and they do all of the heavy lifting with.
Wow, you have a team.
Yeah, well, it's
Eric Hammer has a team.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's really interesting. But they have helped bring opportunity to the table that I would not have been able to get myself, I don't think.
That's great.
And they're advocating on my behalf. They are negotiating. They're doing all of the communication, and that's where most of the money's coming from. But there are creator funds on platforms that pay out a little bit as well. So like the TikTok Creator Fund, I think there's maybe a 10,000 follower threshold you have to hit, and then you can enter the program. And then you're getting paid on your videos that are over a minute long. You get paid like pennies for views and engagement. But if you have a big enough following and enough regular views on the videos, you can make some money, a couple $100, couple $1,000 a month.
Is that when I see people do hashtag ad?
Hashtag ad is when you're disclosing to the platform and the public that
you are promoting a product.
Exactly.
But is that through the Creator Fund, or that's separate?
Separate.
That's separate.
Yeah,
okay.
That is just like following FTC guidelines.
Okay.
I guess it's illegal to work with a brand, get paid for it,
and not
tell people that this is an advertisement. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I don't know any about like this stuff.
We're learning.
So
am I. Every day something new.
Educational for me too.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're doing your content, what's the best way to get the shot? Like, is it doing a video, a couple second video, and making the reel? Is it getting up close and getting like a shot of the food or whatever? Like, what is the recipe for success?
I think the recipe is different for every person. Good lighting is great.
Yeah, but what do you do when you're at a restaurant and the lighting is the lighting?
Yeah, it's
like I was at Chez Fifi on the Upper East Side trying to take content for a reel, and the lighting was so terrible.
I mean, it's pitch black in these restaurants these days. Yeah, and it's a vibe, and it's like a really comfortable spot to post up and have a nice drink and enjoy dinner, but it is not conducive to creating content at all, not even the slightest.
Do you bring your own little light?
I have a light. I am careful about when and where I use it because I know how bright it is, especially in those dark restaurants. You can't not see it.
Correct.
If I use that, I'm try to be quick with it. I don't want to be rude to people who are sitting around me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like the light on my phone, everyone's using their phone to take pictures and videos, and especially these days at restaurants, which I know we're going to talk more about, but I'm not the only person in there using the flash on my phone.
It's true.
And I think most people are pretty respectful of that, or at least they acknowledge this is the world that we live in. And again, I try to be as quick as possible. I want to get a good shot, close up if I can, but I get what I can. I go home and I chop it up. And
are you doing the editing, or do you have the team doing that?
That's all me. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I would ever
relinquish
trust
someone,
that control.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't necessarily have a vision for the videos, but once I go home, I look at what I have. That's when I start to craft the story. And I like to add voiceover as well. So I'm going to write my own little script for it. And that's something that nobody could ever truly replicate to the way that I would do it.
So you're taking these videos when you're like at the restaurant, whatever, and you're not saying anything.
Correct.
So you're just doing the eating, the whatever, and then it's afterwards you're going back in and you're putting the voice over it. And
Yeah. There are times where
Can you give me a sesh after this, please?
Absolutely.
How to make a reel?
Absolutely. Now, sometimes if I'm at like a quiet restaurant and I can record myself, getting a reaction or trying the food, something more in the moment, real time, then I absolutely will. But these restaurants, not only are they dark, Christina, but they are super loud.
Correct.
Yeah, you can't hear anything. You can barely hear the person that you're talking to across the table from you.
I know.
So it'd be difficult to make some content that way. I have a microphone. I've just got that. I don't like bringing that with me everywhere, but
you have all these flashy things.
I wouldn't call them
microphones.
flashy. They're just little tips and tricks to help supplement the content, I would say.
I love it. All right, we need to go to commercial break. I have a great idea. When we get back, Ryan, I want you to get my friend Jamie Knott on the phone from the Saddle River Inn. I want to know his opinion on how food influencing impacts his restaurants as a restaurateur in New Jersey. That's a great idea. All right, stay tuned. You're listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970, The Answer.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970, The Answer.
Welcome back. I'm in studio tonight with Eric Hammer, the viral food influencer blowing up social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram with his reels about dining experiences. Before the break, we were talking about, how food influencing works and how Eric got into this realm of work. And on the line now, I have Jamie Knott, who is a New Jersey restaurateur who put me in touch with Eric to begin with. So I wanted to get his kind of position on how food influencers impact his restaurants. So can we patch Jamie in, please?
Well, sure thing. He just joined us on the line now. He's back on Culinary Confidential.
Hi, Jamie. It's Christina Cates. How are you?
Hey, Christina. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm here with Eric Hammer, as you know.
How you doing?
Eric, what's up, buddy?
My man, doing well.
Long time no see.
Too long. Always too long.
So, Jamie, I wanted to get you on the line because I'm here talking to Eric, and we're talking about food influencing, and you own so many restaurants in New Jersey. So I just wanted to get kind of your side, like what you think about the food influencer, because, you're an operator, a restaurateur, and I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, did you do any videos at one of Jamie's places, like Saddle River Inn, Saddle River Cafe?
I've been to two of them now, Saddle River Inn and Madame in Jersey City.
Jersey City.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Both spectacular. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the line, Jamie.
Well, I appreciate you, Eric. And even if you were, I would appreciate that also.
Hell yeah.
No, I know you're not. And, to be honest, I really didn't love food influencers, when they first started, which was, what do you think, Eric, 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago at this point?
Yeah, it really started to boom, I would say, 5 years ago. Even longer than that, maybe. But the last 5 years has been insane.
An uptick for sure.
Well, I don't think I understood it at first, to be honest with you. And maybe that's what I didn't like. And then, once I see people like Eric out there who are open and honest and give real feedback and reviews and, just an all-around great guy, I want those kinds of people in my restaurant,
Yeah. Do you think the food influencers impact the restaurant's visibility and customer traffic?
I mean, numbers speak, right?
Yeah.
I think, Eric, do you know how many times your video has been shared so far from the Saddle River Inn?
I'd have to check, but I know
Millions.
I know that video. That video went off.
Million, but yeah, it did pretty well. I think it was shared, over 7,500 times.
Yeah,
which is a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy
for a small New Jersey restaurant. And then there was sub videos off of that, right? Then you put the veal parm as like one of the best bites you had this year.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because I'm supposed to be a fine dining French restaurant, and somehow I turned into an Italian steakhouse. But that's a story for another segment, Christina.
Yeah.
But,
that veal parm at Saddle River Inn is truly top of the line.
It's legit, man.
I've never been. I tried to get a res, and I couldn't.
Well, I think you got a guy now.
I think I got a guy. I mean, in Jersey, everyone's got a guy, right?
That's right.
I got the right one.
Everybody's got a guy. If you don't got a guy, you don't got nothing in Jersey. But yeah, and food influencers are, they're super positive for the business now.
But do you believe food influencers are more effective
product.
than traditional advertising?
We don't really advertise, to be honest with you, and I know that probably doesn't sound great, but the way I built it was kind of grassroots. I put every post up on Facebook when we started 13 years ago, responded to every comment, posted on every holiday, always posted our awards and stuff, and thanked our guests and our staff, and that was kind of just grassroots. And then I started boosting posts, maybe like $50 or $100, probably 8-9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that seemed to work. And now it's probably like a $10, $15, $20 ad spend, per day. And then we work on our SEO. But, influencers can go viral in a heartbeat, right?
Right.
So,
Eric, you know that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Eric knows that for a fact, And there's no rhyme or reason to it, right? Some of it doesn't make sense at all. And you never know which ones are going to hit. So I think Eric's told you, I'm sure the name of the game is content.
Well,
right?
Content, yeah. He was saying just like the consistency of constantly posting, and eventually something's going to stick.
That's right.
I think it's the same theory with food influencers. If you keep seeing people go there and you're constantly in people's feeds, either they're going to come get fed or they're going to block you or unfollow you,
Right. Jamie, have you had any experiences with influencers making like unreasonable demands? Not Eric, of course.
Definitely not me.
No, definitely not Eric. He's super easy to work with. I've seen prices skyrocket. I don't want to name any names, but, somebody came by and ate and did a video for us, I think 4 years ago, and the price has gone up 10 times. We asked them to come back and do a video for a different restaurant.
Oh, you're kidding.
In PB&J Hospitality. Yeah, and I think originally, it was $1,000 the first time, and I think they asked for $7,500 this time.
$7,500?
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of money, right?
That is a lot of money.
We're talking U.S. dollars here?
USD, my friend.
Dang.
Not rubles. That's a lot, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's uncharted waters for so many people in restaurants, and it's a weird gray area, and no one knows what the price is.
Yeah, how do you figure out a menu of sorts of what to charge people?
Yeah, well, a lot of people in this space refuse to step foot in a building until they're paid $1,000, $2,000. I don't operate like that. If they're a brand or a restaurant group that I've worked with before and I know they have budget for that sort of thing, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But I've never been about just demanding dollars for the exposure. Even though this is my literal career and I know I'm good at what I do, the relationship, I'm not willing to sacrifice that.
Well, when I asked you before, how do you monetize this? You left this whole part out.
Yeah.
There's some demanding influencers out there who are charging really high prices. I mean, I guess that's not that shocking. I just didn't know it was at that level, like $7,500 a visit. That's insane.
That was shocking to me. I think the going rate is, like Eric said, $1,000 to $2,000.
Yeah, that seems fair.
But
plus, you're getting your meal comped, I'm sure, right?
It's not only because, that goes without saying. I just think he's a super genuine guy. And he's there to enjoy himself and, actually loves food.
It's true.
That's the difference.
That's right.
Some of these influencers treat it strictly like a job, and it feels that way.
Yeah.
And
it just doesn't seem organic.
That's not what you're looking for. Exactly. You want organic, and you want your guest or possible future guest to see that and say, I'm going to give this a shot.
Yeah.
This guy's just like me. He loves food, and he... I like the way Eric eats. That's going to sound so weird, right? On air.
Now I'm going to go back and watch all your reels.
I told him this. He's got a beard, right? And there's never food in it, which I appreciate. So good job on that, Eric.
Thank you. You did tell me that in person last week. You are the only person who loves the way that I eat. In fact, that is probably the most common critique that I get. People loathe the way that I eat. Apparently,
Are you kidding?
Apparently, I take slow and little bites, which for some reason people have a problem with. I don't know. You eat the way you want, I'll eat the way I want.
Yeah.
But I do take pride on
exactly.
being a clean eater. And I'm strategic about every bite that I take as to not make a huge mess all over myself. Sometimes it happens, but I try to limit those instances.
That's funny. Jamie, have you noticed a direct increase in sales or reservations after an influencer features one of your restaurants?
This is the real tough spot because it's very hard to quantify. I can't
You
say
can't
yes.
measure it, really.
Well, Saddle River Inn, thankfully, is the same every day. We do pretty much the exact cover count every day we're open. So I can't
that's
quantify
great.
it there. Yeah, I no complaints here, trust me. So I can't quantify that there. I would say Madam maybe had a slight uptick, but it's also hard to tell. Is it over time? Is it a slow flow? You know, is it 10 people a week? You just, you know, the variable in sales is small, so you can't really tell. But I think it's about just being in people's faces and being on people's screens.
Yeah.
I think that's what's important.
And
Staying
if I
relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I post a video, Jamie, at one of your spots, and let's say that gets 10 people to come in for dinner, whether you know it or not, some of them might say something. Hey, I'm here for dinner tonight because I saw a video online. But most of them are probably not going to say anything. So I understand why it is so difficult, if not impossible, to quantify that.
Right. Jamie, how are
But
you
it will give
connecting
it
with
buzz.
the influencers?
Yeah, it'll give it buzz for sure. And like you said,
It
if
gives it buzz, and buzz, you know, creates momentum. Momentum's
Absolutely.
energy, and that brings more people. So I guess the long answer is yes, it works.
Jamie, how do you typically connect with influencers? Are you reaching out to them or that you wait until they reach out to you?
I DM them on Instagram.
Nice. I like that
Yeah, if
hustle.
there's somebody I like their style, I like, you know, Eric, I just hit you up, right? And I was like, hey,
Is that
buddy,
how you
love what
connected
do.
with him?
I think
I'm
so,
pretty sure.
pretty much. Yeah, maybe it was a common friend who connected us, but like
Yeah, we had a common friend also. That's
once,
right.
but
yeah.
once we connected, it just felt like
Peanut
a
butter and
natural
jelly.
fit. Yeah, and now we're homies.
Yeah, that's great. I know you went
Now
to
we're homies, and-
Fly Fish Club together.
Sure did. Shut it down.
It's so funny. Josh is the best. Shout out Capon. But it's funny you said peanut butter and jelly. So we formed a hospitality group this year, and it's called PB&J Hospitality because my partners are Peter, Bob, and Jamie. So it just happened to work out, you know?
Oh, we'll have to get Peter and Bob on the show with us next time you're on, Jamie.
I'll get Peter on for sure. Bob's a little camera shy. I'm not sure he's going to say yes to it.
Okay. All right,
He's
well,
a behind-the-scenes guy.
everyone has the behind-the-scenes guy. Jamie, I appreciate your time for coming on the line tonight. We're going to go to our last commercial break. Stay tuned. You're listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970 The Answer.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970. The Answer.
Okay, we are back. I have Eric Hammer in the studio tonight. We just finished up with my friend Jamie Knott, New Jersey restaurateur, who, you know, has some background in using food influencers for some of his establishments. So it was interesting to get his perspective. But Eric here is a viral food influencer, blowing up social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram with his reels about his dining experiences. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the power of social media because as of January this year, social media continues to play a significant role in global communication with 5.24 billion users worldwide, representing 64% of the global population. Facebook remains the leading social network, boasting over 3 billion active users. YouTube follows with 2.5 billion users, and Instagram and TikTok each have approximately 2 billion active users. Now, in the United States, 70% of the population actively uses social media, totaling 239 million people. Social media platforms are increasingly influencing consumer behavior. More than half of Instagram users utilize the platform for product discovery, highlighting its growing role in the e-commerce space. Eric, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. This is an awesome conversation so far, for real.
It?
Yes, I'm locked in, dialed in.
I love it. You are. You've been such a wonderful guest to have in studio. All right, let's talk social media. Do you think, and this is like your opinion, it's becoming a more positive or toxic space for people? Obviously, I think what you bring to the table is a positive side.
Yeah. Overall, I think it's positive. I think it's a way to get information and a source of entertainment. And that, in and of itself, is a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
That power can be exploited.
Easily.
Yes. And you don't know what to believe. Just because you see it online doesn't mean it's true.
That's very true. True statement.
But I do my part in spreading what I believe to be accurate information. But in the world of food, that's just my opinion. Taste is very, very subjective. And
Sure.
Just because I like this sandwich doesn't mean you're going to like this sandwich. And doesn't make either of us right or wrong, just different opinions. I try to keep that top of mind. But again, I do think that power, when used effectively and responsibly, is incredible for people, for businesses, for brands, and just for the consumers at large who are there to get information on a particular topic.
Right. I just get a little torn because, like, I have 2 small children. I mean, they're by no means ready for social media. Like, it's not even, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe the 8-year-old might ask for it at some point, but certainly not the 5-year-old. And I'm just so conflicted because I talk to other people in my town who have children the same age, and it's like, would you let your child have an Instagram? Would you let them have a TikTok? Because especially with young girls, they're always on TikTok doing the dance moves, buying like the makeup, the trends there. I don't think I would let them have it till they were 18, to be honest with you.
I hear you. Yeah. And I know that platforms are making their parental controls more and more sophisticated, which I think is fantastic.
But kids are becoming more and more sophisticated how to get around them.
Absolutely. You tell someone they can't do it, they're going to only want to do it more.
Yeah.
So
like when my parents told me I couldn't have a cell phone, I got a beeper.
Exactly.
And they were mad.
I bet. Yeah.
But I found a way around it.
Exactly. And they'll do the same thing now, right? They will find a way around those parental controls. They'll have a burner account. They'll have someone else's account that they have access to. But I understand your concerns and your reluctance to let them, even have a taste of what's on these platforms, because it can be used against them as a weapon.
Sure. That's right. All right. What are the biggest changes you've seen in social media over the years? How long have you been kind of on your platforms?
I've been making video content for about 4 years now, but I was a pretty active user on platforms just as, amongst friends for years before that. But I think that shift to video changed everything. Now you go on every platform. Right. It's video. LinkedIn has become like a hub for content.
Oh, yeah.
LinkedIn.
We didn't mention LinkedIn at all today.
I'm not using LinkedIn for my content, but I have thought about it. And I think there's a world.
Are there influencers on LinkedIn kind of utilizing that?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
It's not as saturated as the TikToks and the Instagrams, right? So big fish, small pond type situation.
Right.
It's different platform behavior, different user base, depending on what it is that you're creating content for. I think LinkedIn is an untapped market for so many people. But the shift from photos to videos really changed the game. And that's really when I jumped in, because I'm not a photographer. I see a lot of people taking pictures of food. This is 5-6 years ago. I could do that, but I can't stand out like that, which is why I started making videos and trying to differentiate myself by putting myself out there, my personality and my face as well. I don't think my face is much to look at, but I'm okay with people seeing it.
But you have a notable face because you have the facial hair, the beard. Like when people see you, they're like, "Oh, that's Eric Hammer."
Sure. Yeah. I guess so.
I mean, I've showed your videos to a couple people when I was like, I'm going to do a show with a food influencer. I don't know if you've heard of him. Like, you probably have. I've shown them your video. They're like, oh, yeah, I've seen his videos.
Yeah, it's to think that I have a notable face or a memory. It's wild to think about. I'm pretty self-aware of what I look like. I'm okay with it. I'm very comfortable in my own skin and my body, but I'm okay putting myself out there. And if people are going to remember me for my beard, fine. For my receding hairline, fine. If it's for the sandwiches that I'm eating specifically and nothing to do with me, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah, just remember me for something.
Yeah, I've been, like I said a couple times already, I've been trying to just inundate people, and once you follow me, you're not going to be able to escape. My face is going to be popping up on your phone every single day.
Well, let's talk about algorithms and how that comes into play, because like I don't know anything about that thing, as you've probably gathered listening to me talk about social media tonight. How does it work? Because if I look at an Eric Hammer video and then I swipe like on the Explore page or something, now all of a sudden all of my videos I'm seeing are content creators, food influencers, things like that.
Yeah. Well, if I had the answer to how the algorithms work,
Somebody needs to tell me.
Well, the problem is they're
Because I want people
changing.
seeing my page.
Yeah, they're constantly changing, and nobody is told how or why they're changing. They're just changing. But the people who are noticing it the most are the ones who are, at least in my opinion, the ones who are creating content. You'll see spikes in views. I'll be posting videos every day this week. All my videos will be going viral, right?
Yeah.
And then for the next 3 weeks, I'm getting just a couple thousand people looking at them.
That's got to be frustrating.
Something
for
happened
you.
with the algorithm, or I've been shadow banned. That's a hot term.
What does that mean?
Essentially, it's the platform suppressing your views and your reach for an unidentified reason.
Oh, wow.
Either they flagged your account, or it just might be at the mercy of some algorithm change where your content that would normally be shown to X number of people is now only being shown to just a fraction of that, without rhyme or reason, it seems. It's crazy.
Well, that stinks.
Yeah.
All right, what are
part of the
some
game.
trends do you think that will dominate social media in the next few years?
Human-led content. I think this boom of AI is powerful and interesting and exciting, but at the end of the day, people connect with people. And
That's a great point.
yeah, where I think brands are highlighting real people. I mean, yes, you can use AI for a million different things that can be great, but the way for a brand to reach people is by making some sort of human connection. And I think we've already seen that shift start to play out, but I think that is not going anywhere.
Good. Okay, give me some misconceptions about being an influencer.
A misconception is that I am being paid for every single restaurant that I'm going to, and every piece of feedback, every positive review, every word that I say is because I'm being paid by that restaurant. Could not be further from the truth. I'm honest. Whether I'm getting paid or not, you're getting the truth from me.
Have you seen some influencers out there who you think are not honest? Like, because you know them from the industry, that you know they're just doing posts for the monetization?
Yeah, I think you can tell if you watch someone's content enough.
Yeah.
And you start to learn about how they speak and what they like, what they don't like. You really learn about them as a person. I think you can kind of clock when they are forcing it a little bit.
Yeah, not genuine.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that if I go in and have something to eat at a restaurant, whether I'm being paid or not, and I don't like it, I'm not there to trash the restaurant, trash that dish. I'm going to try to find some positive elements of that particular dish.
Has there been, though, like a time where you've gone out and your intent was to kind of promote a restaurant, do a post about it, and you were like, this place just wasn't good?
Once. Yes.
In Jersey?
Yes.
Oh.
The restaurant is no longer open.
Okay, so what was it?
It was Bird in Hoboken,
Never heard of that.
BYRD. It was this like highly anticipated spot. They were filling in a spot that was just failure after failure. Every restaurant in this physical space couldn't make it.
I hate when that happens,
I know.
by the way.
It's a really inconvenient part of town, and the chef was this highly acclaimed chef, and it was really exciting that this finer dining for Hoboken was coming to town. And as soon as they opened, I made a reservation. I wanted to go in and try it for dinner, and I was really, really excited. I wasn't paid. I paid for the meal. Like I went in there hoping to love the meal
Right.
and make an awesome video and tell people, hey, this new restaurant Hoboken is legit. You guys need to get here. And it just missed the mark for me. It was fine.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, it was fine. There were some really nice dishes. There were some that kind of fell flat. I thought maybe some dishes were overpriced given the dish itself. But again, that space has never seen a successful restaurant. So even if the meal was amazing, that restaurant may have never survived.
You know, I went to a dinner recently in the Village. There was a place there before that I mildly liked. I had been there a few times, but it had only been there for 2 years. So this is like the new place, and it has like a good name to it. Like it has a couple other really popular restaurants in New York. So I was like, I'm just going to go sit at the bar, have dinner by myself, and check it out because I know it's going to explode in a week or two. Like I went there first week opening, and then I'm not going to be able to get a res. I went, and I left there, and I was like, I never need to eat there another day in my life. I was so disappointed. And I don't know if it's the venue, like you were saying. Like sometimes you get these places that nothing works in there.
Yeah, that happens in Manhattan, in New York City these days. Like the hype that some of these places get are so insane where you go in and you have these unrealistic expectations that it's going to be the best meal you've ever had. And it's just not.
It falls flat. Yeah.
The corner store.
Did you do something?
I went to the corner store.
But did you do a video in there?
I did.
Because don't they not let you use a light?
I didn't bring my light.
Okay.
I used my phone, the flash on my phone.
And how was it?
It was good. Not the best meal I've ever had. I was pretty honest with people.
How'd you get a res?
A friend of mine who knows people who work there or own the restaurant, he set it up. Shout out to my boy Brian.
Should Brian
a really
come
good
on
meal.
The show?
I'll try to make it happen.
Yeah, because I want to go to the corner store.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and what I have told people and continue to tell people is if you can go, you should. The place is a vibe. Once you step in, it's like, oh, this is an awesome night out.
It's the New Yorkest like room in the city.
And you want to love the meal. And I really did enjoy it. Some of the dishes that people are going crazy about, I was not crazy about.
Like the pizza rolls, the spinach dip.
The pizza rolls, I thought they were totally fine. I actually did love the spinach dip, to be honest.
Really? Because it doesn't look very good.
I don't
like online in the food influencer thing.
I'm not crazy about spinach and artichoke dip in general. This one was fantastic by my standards.
I'll give it a go.
Yeah. So there's a lot of disappointment these days. Like the hype is insane, and like if someone posts a video, they can't control the narrative that comes from that. They can control the one video that they themselves put out, but if everybody else starts to pile on and the hype goes up, and then people are going to be let down for sure. It's unfortunate when you go to a place and you're disappointed. But connecting to what you asked before about have I gone somewhere planning to make a video and just hated it, I am now pretty particular about where I'm going out and making content at. It's quality over quantity for me. I'm going to places that I have either been to before or have talked to friends who I trust who have been and they loved it. So I'm setting myself up for success as best as I can. And if I did go somewhere that I hated it, I wouldn't make a video for it. I'm not here to tell everyone that I had an awful meal at this business. It's not my game.
You're my favorite food influencer right now. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much.
I love how genuine you are, honestly, Eric.
I try.
That's great.
I pride myself on that.
Thank you for listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on AM 970 The Answer. Big thanks to Eric Hammer. I'll see you out there on the gram. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you so much.
That's the show. Thanks for listening and have a great night.
The preceding program is sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.